Salutations from the sixth side. This is Six Skill Combat, and today I'm talking to my good friend, my good online pal, and fellow artist, the uncanny and esteemed Mr. Tony Sizzle. And yeah,
Bro,
I'm really stoked to have Tony on the stream. Finally, I've been literally bugging him about this for years. Ever since yeah, we kind of got in contact when I did the first book, and he did part of the Ashcan. He did a great job with the Ashcan. But yeah, Tony was such a great guy. He does so much work. He did a T-shirt design for me. He did a couple of back covers. He's doing stuff for the omnibus currently for the Nippon Brothers Book 3. And yeah, it was just really great. And I'll tell you sort of how this all came about, because I guess he saw some of the Vietnam artwork that I did for the first book, and it appealed to him. He dropped me a DM on Twitter, and he told me about his dad. His dad was in Nam, and I was like, dude, man, that's such an honor. If you want, I could put your dad in the ash guy. So it sort of kind of escalated from that. So Tony, yeah, that was it, right? That's kind of what happened.
what an honor it was to have his stuff in that ash can. That ash can was incredible. I mean, the fact that it's going to be included into the new omnibus and everything, that is terrific news, because anybody who didn't get their hands on that ash can, I saw it in black and white, and I thought it was incredibly strong in black and white, and I can't wait to see it.
Well, actually, the cool thing about let's say the reprinting of the Ashcan, because there's not many of those around. I don't know exactly how much Doug printed, but there can't be more than, yeah, maybe 100 of those. And like you said, it was a really cool little addition to the book. You did an amazing job. I did my best as always. But the cool thing is, with the reprinting and the omnibus, I'm gonna color everything in. So yeah, we haven't really talked about that yet, but I was wondering if I can vectorize your art. I'd like to color it, because I think the Bongo story, would be perfect with some really cool psychedelic colors. So what do you think about that, Tony?
Well, I'm just so stoked about your part of the ash can. Really, it had such a strange, like, comics with an X verbs to it, and stuff that is like pulled out of a warp zone or something. It's so incredible, and I don't even know what it'll be like colored. Like, I don't know if you can do any better with it colored. I mean, it was so strong in black and white.
Well, the cool thing was, I really like black and white comics, and when you traditionally look at Ashcans, yeah, they were sort of just quickly done renditions of concepts and that kind of stuff, and we kind of went a little bit beyond that. But yeah, of course, a lot of my references, like Crump, they're all in black and white. You know what I mean? And I think these guys, they could do stuff in color, but their black and white penciling and inking is so strong that, yeah, it takes on a whole other dimension to itself. So it was sort of an homage, and also sort of an homage to the zines. But yeah, I was thinking, if we are going to reprint it, then I have to add a little something to it. So that said, Tony also did a one-off piece for the book that's really amazing. I haven't shown anybody yet. This is sort of a secret still. But yeah, Tony, man, that piece you did, that was yeah, that was like spot on, man. That was spot on. Your whole theme, your composition, it was really cool. I was really pleased to see it.
You got a lot of great characters, a lot of really cool characters to play with.
I love my characters, man. It's like my little sandbox that I play in, and of course, the book is kind of humorous. It has sort of a dark edge, it has a psychedelic edge, and it has a serious edge. But the bottom line is that you have to get engaged with the characters, and to me, the characters mean a lot. So yeah, the only way I can engage the reading audience with these characters is because of what I feel about them. For me, it's not a gimmick. For me, yeah, they are the essential mechanism of telling a story. So yeah.
What a project this has been for you. I mean, you started this beyond the pandemic. I mean, when it was we were in a completely different time. What was it about that? What was it about the 70s? This is the early 70s that this is placed in, or right at the early 70s?
Well, I think I'm sort of ambivalent to whether it's the early, the mid, or late 70s. I would say it's a bit the late 70s because America, of course, already pulled out of Nam.
What was it
Uh,
that drew you to like setting the story at that? And what do you think about
okay, well, let me explain this to you. Of course, I'm sort of an aficionado when it comes to military stuff. I'm a big follower of the news ever since I was young. And actually, the first news items I can remember from TV, that was all Nam stuff. That was all sort of post Nam stuff, Cambodia, Khmer Rouge, and yeah, I was just intrigued. I was kind of intrigued by the brutality of it all, and this was sort of my first introduction to the real world via TV. My parents were, sort of hardworking blue collar people, and like most of my generation, Generation X, we were kind of raised with the TV on. So yeah, they didn't really filter what I was watching. You know what I mean?
so you were watching a
And
lot of actual war correspondence and like
yeah, like documentaries and also news. I mean, Nam was really big growing up. Like late 70s, early 80s. That stuff that was that had sort of had a backlash. To society, to Western society, because it was the first time, in fact, of course, that America, yeah, I hate to say it, but was sort of defeated. And before that, there were always the good guys who won. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, yeah, the heroes get knocked off the pedestal. I say this very black and white. Of course, now I have a sort of insight into what actually happened. But yeah, that was sort of the main theme that was going on. The once great America finally met its match. Of course, nobody rambled about the fact that Russia got their asses kicked in Afghanistan and all of that stuff. But yeah, so after that, I grew up. I always stuck with history and sort of military history in particular. Also, of course, yeah, getting into comics. Stuff that really appealed to me was the underground comics, mostly.
the
I mean, I
counter.
dabbled in
You
my
and I are
Marvel, and I dabbled in it, in all sort of stuff. But the underground comics, that was, yeah, that was the dangerous stuff, like Spain Rodriguez, Robert Crumb, and all that. You know. So yeah, that's kind of what happened. But hey, listen, now I'm really rambling about myself, but I want to pick your brain, man,
You
because
should be.
yeah,
You're an amazing artist, amazing creator. I mean, you do it all. You do A, B, C, and D. You take the whole thing, and that's
well,
amazing. That's the next level. That's the throwback. That's the connection to that verve I was talking about that you're pulling in from all these old influences that everybody else isn't getting. Like you don't see a lot of manga influence in your, in my opinion.
no, yeah, well, manga. I like manga, but I don't understand it. I think they have different cultural references. Yeah, it kind of goes over my head. I like the art, and I can appreciate elements of the storytelling, but it doesn't connect to me the way those underground comics connected to me. So I don't know how that is with you. How did you get into comics, man? Because I know you told me that you have a background sort of in graffiti, and
Right.
my sense is that you also have a background kind of in, let's say, um art with the capital A, so to speak. I kind of get this sense, but tell us something about you, man. Tell us something about how you got started. How you got started doodling.
I don't even know if I've ever gotten started, but the thing that draws me to comics, like the best thing about it is just the bottom of the barrel, and there is so little creativity and like actual kind of knocking down doors and things like that that's going on in comics. That really anything you do there is you can be forgiven for it. Like there's nothing happening there, and it can't go any worse than it is.
I
So
think I think
it only
underground
improves on
comics,
it.
a good metaphor for them is like drunk people and children. It's unfiltered and it's honest. And that's kind of what I appreciate about it.
Right. It's just so strange. It's all very strange. It's like you're looking into the creator's mind and seeing all the problems that he or she has. It's just a terrific, medium to work in. If you're, especially today, like everybody has the ability to do it, but very few people do it right.
Well, that's one of my main pet peeves about this age, especially in the comics community. is this could be a renaissance, like a truly a renaissance of independent comics, because like you said, we have the media, and we have the potential exposure and audience. But I see a lot of infighting, and I see a lot of dogmas of the industry that filter through, and I see a lot of projects that are either sort of totally going after the big bucks or going after a movie deal, and yeah, for me, that's not why I do comics. I don't want to see my stuff as a movie. I mean,
Hell no.
I'm sure they would fuck it up, I mean,
That's like, yeah,
CGI.
giving your child away to some kind of, random Hollywood guy. That'd be fucking terrible.
Exactly, exactly. One of my sort of criteria, if they ever want to do something with the Napalm Brothers, is it has to be all practical effects. I don't want any of that computer generated bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's super cool.
Or we could do like a porn spoof. That's good. If they do like a cheap budget porn spoof about the Napalm Brothers, the Napalm Sisters, I'm cool with that too.
So it's been a wild ride, but as your last issue is coming to a close here, when you're looking back on the project, I assume 3 is going to be the last issue. I haven't heard of any like miniseries spin-offs from the Napalm Brothers. Like,
Well, that's sort of I understand where you're going, but just to interrupt you for a little bit, I do have one big project planned with the Napalm Brothers, but yeah, I'm not going to do it the way I did it now. Like this thing, it's going to be all done, and I'm just going to drop it when it's finished. When it's finished, I'm going to say, "Hey, well, you can buy this book or whatever," but I'm not
I think
going
you
to.
brought some brain cells doing this last edition. I've seen the some of the pages. They're incredible, like next level, and I can tell that this guy went above and beyond, like went through a lot of layers of reality to hit these kind of pages. So I know that probably we've blown some fuses.
Yeah, I'm blowing some fuses with myself as well, man. Because listen, like I said, I work full time and I do this comic in my spare time. But yeah, with this last book, not only do I have the responsibility of wrapping up the story nicely, but yeah, I also like to see some progress in the actual storytelling and in the actual art. So that's really I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself, and I can feel it. Because the first book was easy. The first book was 24 pages, and it was done in a jiffy. Actually, it was done before I started the campaign. And then the second one, yeah, I was really uh, trying to refine the art a little bit. You know what I mean? But story-wise, it was the middle part, and it was sort of a how do you say, not a break in the storytelling, but more sort of the slower paced middle segment. But now I'm with book 3, and now I have to blow shit up. You know what I mean? I really have to. I really want to tell the story, Tony. And that's one thing that I hope people realize, that I really do this as a labor of love, and sort of yeah, as my personal homage to the era and to the genre. And yeah, I hope I do everything justice.
You're the
And
torchbearer, son. You and a few other dudes that I know that like do it all from start to finish. You always got the same kind of influences, all that Robert Crumb stuff and all that underground comics and things like you and Tonic Mold. Those are 2 guys that I can think of that do everything in house, all on their own.
I think Tonic is superb, really, and his stuff
Wow.
always reminds me of that. What was that comic called? Is he talks about it a lot as well. I used to read it. I think it was Ghost Town, like a
Yeah.
black and white comic about 2 chicks.
Ghost World.
Ghost World. That's it. Yeah. But of course, what are you drinking, by the way? Is that water?
What am I not drinking, son?
If you're drinking water, I'm stopping the stream right now, man. No, no, but yeah, Tonic is really cool, man. But yeah, there's a few of us out there that are still sort of trying to stay true to the spirit. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I wanted to ask you. I mean, what is or was your big motivation, your big sort of references within comics? What's the stuff that you really like to read?
Let me evade that question for a moment and go back to Tonic. In that I'm very similar to him in that Tonic's in the middle of nowhere, like he's in the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma, and it's not like he's out in L.A. or New York or something where these art students are like spilling out of buildings everywhere and getting in your way. It's a big scene and everything. Like just the fact that you're kind of what I would call in the middle of nowhere, especially for creative jobs like that. You get new flavors. That it's not. There's all kind of different influences out there, and everybody who's gravitating to the meccas of, and I found that the same to be in graffiti. Like you go to New York to paint because you think that this is a mecca, and maybe it is, but it's a completely different flavor. I mean, these are people making their livings doing graffiti and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like different. It's like, what is this, man?
This is
Like,
for me. This is really insane, by the way, Tony. Because when I started, it was like the early '80s. I was doing it with my cousin, who was a couple of years older, and we actually went on trains. We went on the train yards. We got arrested a couple of times doing that stuff. A lot of tagging. A lot of how do you call them? The throw ups. You know what I mean? So not like finished pieces, but just like really big letters and all that stuff. And yeah, it was sort of. It was a nefarious thing to do, and it was certainly wasn't considered. Sorry, can you say again? Because you
as
sort of
comics should be. I mean, it should be kind of
exactly.
dangerous,
No, but I was talking about the graffiti. You know what I mean?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
and the comics, of course. Yeah, it has to be. It has to have sort of an antisocial element. But this is sort of the point I wanted to make about you and about Tonic is that you guys, your politics are sort of ambivalent. You know what I mean? You could fall either way, and I think that's really good because, okay, sure, I have my harsh statements, but I think I have enough insight into both worlds to actually tell an honest story, and that's all I'm trying to do. You know what I mean? And yeah, these are crazy political times. These are crazy political times. The stuff you write and the stuff you draw can actually get you into trouble. People self-censor. You know what I mean? And uh, yeah, it's just insane. And I think it does take a little bit of courage to actually do the stuff you want to do and to tell the stories you want to tell. How do you reflect on this age? Yeah, I know that's a big question, but
Yeah, we're living in science fiction times. I mean, certainly the kind of censorship that's available. I'm a one issue man. Like when you ask me about my politics or whatever, I just freedom of expression is my only issue. That's the only thing that
here, yeah,
and
here. And
everything else is way secondary.
I think that's also the key to dialogue. And I think we really need to get back to a situation where we have dialogue, because now it's just us versus them on both sides. And the crazy thing is,
God have mercy on their soul.
yeah, no, but I mean, listen, nobody gains from this. You know what I mean? And our so-called elites on both sides, they are the ones who actually gain from this stuff. Because it's just sort of a power grab. One elite tries to replace the other elite. One elite tries to stay in power. Uh, the military gets sent out to do all the shit jobs. The political stooges that go out on the streets to riot and all that stuff. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's like you said. It's upside down world. That's what it seems. And how do you approach this in your work? Do you say fuck it and you just do what you want, or do you sort of have in the back of your mind like a message or something that you want to share with your audience?
I don't know. The medium is the message, as they say. So I definitely, humor is a guiding point. Like, I would rather have an enemy who has, a good sense of humor than have an ally who has no sense of humor.
No, that's true. That's true for sure. For sure.
So
Yeah,
humor,
maybe. Yeah, this is true. I think we all need to sort of take a step down from the anxiety level and indeed get back to the stuff that is meaningful, like humor, like good storytelling. I think that would be. And you see, I think in the past this is what comics was also about. Because it sort of used to bridge the various demographics in society, and you might not agree with somebody on some topic, but you can all agree that this particular comic was really cool, or that this particular piece of music was really good.
I've never seen Star Wars, but everybody seems to enjoy it. So I guess that everybody could like say Star Wars brought us all together. I don't know. Well,
How
they
the
used
hell,
to. 600, you
dude?
got some problems with Star
What
Wars.
the hell? How do you ever? How can you've never seen Star Wars? What is this?
I'm not a nerd. What the fuck do I look like, man?
That's a T-shirt right there, man. That's a T-shirt right there. Okay, cool. Actually, I don't want to talk about Star Wars, man, because to me that shit is dead. Now, listen, because this is another thing that's going on this age. All of these streaming services, they are hijacking IPs because they buy these movies from previous production companies or movie companies, and they sort of put them in a vault, and it's up to them when they release them. And like, for instance, Disney with Star Wars, a lot of that stuff isn't even released on DVD and Blu-ray anymore. So the only way to see it is by taking a subscription. And I'll be damned if I do that, man. I still have my VHS tapes, I have my DVDs, ever growing collection, and freedom to all that content, because I think streaming services are the death of creativity in that medium, actually.
Listen up, world. This man's got his convictions. He knows what he wants.
That's it. If I catch any of you motherfuckers sharing my PDFs for free, I'm gonna piano wire you.
Love
I
it.
don't know. Hey, listen, what are you working on right now?
Yeah, I mean.
There he is.
Hey, baby, just
Now he's drinking real stuff. Now he's drinking real stuff.
I don't have any. I'm not pushing anything. I'm not plugging anything.
No, but I mean, in general, are you drawing daily, or how do you keep your fingerspitz in gevoel?
Sir, just live one day at a time. I don't think too far past what's in front of me.
That's good, man. Well, I know I think I asked you in the DM, but we were kind of playing around with the idea of doing a variant cover for book 3. So, yeah, not to put you on the spot, but how do you feel about that? You want to do that?
Nah, we'll see. We'll see if my schedule's open.
We'll keep it. We'll keep it. We'll keep it like a secret. Yeah. Okay. No, that's good. But I have to say again, Tony did do a really cool one-off piece for the omnibus, and also, of course, his segment. And yeah, something I almost forgot about. You did the dev cards, and that never came to fruition. You know what I mean? And that's
Great idea,
something.
though.
Now I'm thinking, I might have to do it out of my own pocket because, I had this idea about doing these Vietnam dev cards, and these were like calling cards, playing cards of a certain unit. When they went into search and destroy, they would leave sort of a calling card for the VC, and often were these playing cards with their logo, with their unit logo on the background. Those were dev cards. So I told Tony, listen, it would be cool as a sort of a tier for the first book stretch goal to do these dev cards. And he actually did 4 or 5 pieces of main and side characters from the first book. And these are excellent pieces. I did, of course, my logo, the one with the Ace of Spades and the sickle. That's one of those dev cards. I took that from that. Yeah. So
And
I
they're
still
super
hope. What's that, Tony?
They're super awesome.
Well, the cards, I think it's a great idea, and I really hope, man, because I've actually never reached one of the stretch goals. So it would be really cool if we could include something like that. And of course, we have the 50 caliber bullet bottle openers that we're going to hit at 2,500, which is nothing for a comic of this caliber. You know, I don't want to pat myself on the back, but it's a good book. We should be able to do that.
You don't get into comics to make money, though. Certainly not in these days.
No, I've only lost money, but that's not why I do it. You know what I mean? But the economics of the thing, when you do one of these campaigns, you want to get people as stoked as you can get them. And stretch goals are one of these things that you can get people excited about it. So. But let's see. Maybe we can still do something with the dev cards. I'm definitely gonna add that art to the book as well, if you don't mind. And let's see where we go from there, man.
We want to see some of your scale combat figures. Like that needs to be out there, man. Some of
Well,
this other.
I did do a lot of that. I was really serious about that. It's like a serious hobby. But there's still some of the vids I did about that. They're still on this channel. I did the Kilgore from Apocalypse Now, the air calf. That's actually one of my favorite figures that I did. And then of course I did the whole Platoon series. And yeah, I think I might after I complete book 3, I might do a couple of more videos about that, about the platoon figures, because now they're doing 112 scale. So I think it would be cool. I think I already did one of those videos where I compare the king figure of platoon to the 1/6 to the 112 scale variant. So yeah, I might get into that for the fellow hobby enthusiast. But yeah, I've got projects going, man. The follow up story for Napalm Bros is going to be set in Rhodesia, and it's going to be another 3 book arc. And yeah, I'll just keep on making these books until nobody buys them anymore. Thankfully, the current campaign is doing pretty good. We're both on Kickstarter and on Indiegogo, and we've actually made more than the previous campaign. So yeah, that's all I can ask right now. And I'm sure if this book gets into the right hands, yeah, we could have some more exposure. But yeah, that's not my main issue. My main issue is that I want to tell the story. It's become a matter of honor for me to complete this arc. Uh, and yeah, I want to wrap it up in the best way I can. So that's what I'm working on. Hey, listen, I'm looking at those pieces behind you. This anatomy that's going on. I see a brain, I see lungs, arm muscles, and a hand and a key. Did you do that?
Don't read too much into it. It's no big deal.
You're a man of many mysteries, man.
But what? Men of Mysteries don't use their real name on the internet.
Yeah. Listen, this it's crazy, man. The internet is crazy. To me, it feels like social media. It's not social at all.
Yeah, it was
And
supposed to be the Wild West. It was supposed to be the ultimate freedom, and now the internet was supposed to be the ultimate freedom, and now it's completely, they're tightening the screws down, man.
so, are you heading over to the Truth platform, the newly created thing that's
Uh,
going on?
who knows?
Who knows, huh? Yeah, because I think what was that one? We were on Parlor. I think we were both on Parlor, and then that thing got nuked. They were doing pretty good, actually. I like that site. I
So
think
I'll
it was a
support
good.
anybody or any platform or anyone whose agenda is to have creative expression be the top, the be all end
Yeah.
all of the that's your drive. Like that's what I want. I don't care anything about anybody who's going to put any kind of censorship on anything.
Yeah, but Sizzle, that's what I want to ask you. Isn't it like a sign of weakness to censor opposing opinions? Then you've
Absolutely
already lost the conversation, in my opinion.
correct. Man knows his stuff.
No, I think all of that censorship that's going on and all of the deplatforming, that's only because they know they can't win by arguments. You know what I mean? That's the only reason. And yeah, the thing that gets me is that a lot of these factions, they project themselves as being the underdogs, but they're not the underdogs. They control the media. They control the narrative. They control a large chunk of the political system. And it's actually the free thinkers of yeah, any political background that are getting shoved aside. But I think more and more people are waking up to this fact because, of course, you had your Alec Jones and he got deplatformed, and everybody was kind of chuckling about it. But now any random person can get deplatformed for basically farting online, and that's the crazy time we're living now.
Yeah, it would be easy to sit here and kind of thumbs down what's going on and kind of take the black pill on the times in which we live, especially for a person with the motivations that I have. But there's good and bad. Like these things are actually with the proper perspective, you can see how things are actually like this is pretty great. People actually self-label themselves, so that I don't have to like do any research about you. Oh, I see. You basically just told me you're an asshole, and I don't want to mess with you. I'm glad you're putting labels on this. It saves me time, and that's terrific.
That's spot on, man. And this is where like you're like a glass half full kind of guy, and I'm the guy with the whole glass full of black pills.
I'll be right all the way off the cliff. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I have been known to be a bit alarmist, but yeah, I'm a casual prepper. You have to be prepared for stuff. What can I say? So yeah. Anyway, how long have we been going, Tony? Is there anything left you want to address?
Oh man, I could talk to you all day. We could entertain the masses all day with your, bent view on things. We could find out how such a good man went wrong.
What I want to know, but is there anything in particular you're reading right now? What are you reading? It could be both comic or book or whatever. Anything you're reading? TV guide?
I'm reading a lot of history, American history in particular. Like I can't get outside of the country to do very much traveling, so I just kind of bum around now. I don't have.
Well, because they took your passport, or
No, I have my passport.
but any particular part of U.S. history you're interested in? I know you have sort of a lineage dating back to the Civil War. Is that stuff you're reading a lot about?
I just didn't get a very good public education, so I have to entertain myself. It's not like I can find a whole lot of entertainment out there that holds my attention. The things that I have been reading now are, I don't really read any comics or anything, but I've been looking at all the books made before the World Wars, and especially like the line graph books. I've got one upstairs that I'm looking at, and it's got all these the way they used to do comics back in the century and stuff like that. The political cartoons from then, and they're very strange, very very. It's like you're going into a different world and stuff. And I love to see stuff like that pushes the boundaries. The things that I get into are like the genesis of different little offshoots of art, like the genesis of the film industry and stuff, and like watching the silent, how they really didn't know what they were doing, and they're kind of, and it's just wildly creative. And that's where I like to spend my time. I like to spend my time in those weird little strange places.
Well, political cartoons, I mean, I can tell you about Europe and the UK, dating back maybe 200, 300 years. Those political cartoons were hardcore, man.
They have word balloons and everything. I mean,
both art-wise and content-wise, because they didn't pull any punches back then. You know what I mean?
No, especially not to us. I mean, it looks like it may as well be Egyptian hieroglyphics or something to us. It's like imperceptible. You're like, what is even going on here? But it's really cool and vicious, like you said. Because we were vicious back then. Everybody was vicious. Dudes
no, exactly. And this is sort of the problem now as well.
Kill a bunch of dudes in duels.
With the Robotawa generation that gets offended when somebody farts. I mean, if you would post some of those old political cartoons, and sort of transpose them to a current topic, the shit would hit the fan. You know what I mean?
That's right. Somebody would have to go. That's why they had duels, son.
Oh man, yeah, that's cool. All right, there's another thing I want to ask you, man. So, I'm a big aficionado, firearms aficionado. What do you think about firearms, man? Do you own some? Do you shoot some?
Nah, not really. I don't know too much about all this stuff, but I'm not scared of them or anything. I know you're the expert in this matter. I have to acquiesce to your knowledge about it.
Okay, well, I'm actually surprised about that one, because I think given sort of the region that you stem from, that you would be but is this like a conscious decision not to really get into that, or you've just never really been interested in it, or? I'm going to stop the stream right now, motherfucker.
So when I used to do graffiti and stuff, you would go to some rough places, and I don't know.
What you mean? You went into weird places and people actually shot at you?
So I'm kind of in the middle of nowhere, and you don't have big buildings and stuff, like you go to real places to paint, but you got to go to like the train yard. You're going to be painting on the trains, and I don't know. You go into hood territory
All right.
you don't graffiti the side of Saks Fifth Avenue. It's too well lit.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the thing is with the train yards, and that's what people don't realize. Like the railroad cops, they're not
Some
necessarily hunting for graffiti guys, but they're hunting for the guys who steal the copper wiring and everything. You know what I mean? And that's kind of that's kind of what they're looking for. These guys are on edge.
to write some ridiculous motto on the side of the train, and they're out there trying to bust my head like I'm some kind of tramp coming through there.
Exactly. Hey, is there anything we can sort of show the audience quick of what you've been doing, like your art? Do you have anything handy that we can show?
Not pushing nothing.
You're too humble, man. You're too humble. I have to say, and I mean this, man. Tony, when I saw your art, I was like, God damn, this guy, he's like the next big thing in comics. You know what I mean? Your art, it's so naturalistic. Like there's a flow to your art, like a natural flow, but it goes beyond being natural and it goes into sort of the preternatural because you extend it, you exaggerate it. And also, I think your art is so stylized. Yeah, it reminds me both of like the older underground comics, but also Art Deco for some reason. I don't know. I think I did notice you did a story with Tonic that was set in the 30s. Is that sort of what you're inspired by? That era, the 1930s, the Depression era, the gangster era. Is that something you want to talk about?
I definitely like spending time in thinking about the way things were in the pre-electric world and certainly maybe even the 1900s, 1910s, 1920s. You and I talked about some of our favorite 1920s movies and shows, and we both liked what's the one set in Harlem? No, was it Harlem Nights?
No. Yeah, you like Harlem Nights? I did see it actually. Yeah.
With Red Fox and all that stuff. Yeah, it was super good. I'm very interested in the pre-electric world, and that's just it.
Well, pretty soon, maybe I'm praying daily for an EMP. And then we're gonna go pre-electric or post-electric. You know what I mean? I think it would solve a lot of problems, Tony. Just one EMP, knock out the interwebs. The internet.
Many problems would be solved, probably many more created, but sometimes you got to pull that bandage off.
I'm not only an artist, but I'm also a Darwinist. So.
Well, I definitely appreciate all the kind things you said about my unrealistic and low quality artwork, and I've taken a lot of lessons from you, and you've been an inspiration for me, and I thank you for letting me play around with your characters.
Listen, man, like I said, every time you show me a piece, I'm completely blown away by it. And unlike other people, when I see work that's superior to mine, I don't get angry or frustrated, but I get inspired. And doing book 2 and book 3, after sort of interacting with the way you draw, and also with my friend Liz, the tattoo artist, who's really an amazing artist, it just sort of motivates me. It just sort of motivates me to do it. You know what I mean? That's kind of, I guess, my whole goal with doing this book is, I'm just an asshole with a laptop and a tablet. And I want to let the younger people know, or even people our age, listen, if you want to do it, just fucking do it. Don't complain about it. Don't look at anybody who might be better than you. Don't look at anybody who might be not as good as you. But just tell your story. Just do it. If you can, save a couple of bucks, get a writer and a colorist. Don't do it all yourself because that's ridiculous. I'm serious, man. This shit is killing me. It's really killing me. This last book.
You got to stand for your art, man. You're doing great. This is the way you should be doing, and you will not be respected until after you're gone. Don't worry.
Yeah. Like Van Gogh, and I might even cut off my ear on stream. Yeah. Talking about Van Gogh.
Go to your liver. so you might as well, do it outwardly.
Talking about Van Gogh, I have to be Van Goghing. Listen,
Let's do it again. Have me back anytime.
listen, Tony, it was truly a great, great honor, man, having you on the stream. Just for a little chat, see what's going on. We shared kind of what's going on with the omnibus, and that's really cool. And yeah, man, you're probably one of my favorite people on the internet. So don't hang up. I'm gonna cut the stream, and then we'll have a little talk after this. Everybody's been watching. Thank you. It's real cool. And back to Napalm Brothers if you want to read a decent book. All right.
Napalm 3.
See you later.
Sayonara.